Hey guys, Steve from PC Budget Solutions here, and first of all, thank you guys very much for sticking with me. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit since I've done anything other than a live stream, but Build Log is back. We're going to have performance results, we're going to have entry-level graphics card results, we're going to have a lot. In this video though, we have a build log. So, a good friend of mine, actually a co-worker, is starting up a YouTube channel. He needs an editing rig, so he wants to be able to do videos for friends and family. He wants to do YouTube, wants to do a lot of things. So, unfortunately, his laptop that I hooked him up with a while ago for writing isn't going to be sufficient. So, we have a lot of stuff here. I have a big box. I have a case box. We spent about $1,000, give or take, but mind you, we also had to get all kinds of extras. We had to get a card reader, we had to get a monitor, speaker, keyboard, mouse, everything. If you admit all the extras, we're right around $700, including like the Wi-Fi adapter and things like that. So we're going to cost a $700 intro to video editing, something of that nature, build log. So I welcome you guys to join me, and let's go along for the ride. Before we get started, I want to go over this stockpile of parts. I'm actually not even sure what's in this box here, but I have more stuff on the ground too. Hard drive. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff here. So the core of this build is going to be this guy. We're talking Ryzen 5. Of course, budget editing rig, you have to go Ryzen. This is the Ryzen 5 1500X, which is a quad-core hyper-threading. I didn't go with the 1400 because it has less cache, and I felt that that wasn't a compromise I wanted to make. I have a 2 terabyte storage drive. I have a Blu-ray burner. I have a card reader, because he needs that. Put this stuff over here so it doesn't fall. I have a 240 gig Kingston A400 SSD. Good deal there. I have, because he needs Wi-Fi, I believe, we have a Roswell N, I think it's like up to 450 megabits. Yep, 450 megabits per second, does dual bands, which is good. We have 16 gigs of memory, basically anything that's 2400 megahertz, because that's the fastest this board will go up to right now. We have a GT 1030, yes, it's an ITX edition. Let's open this up real quick. Just for the heck of it. So, wow, that's small. That's really small. This is for CUDA acceleration only. That's the only reason why we have it. So, we're going to place this somewhere safe. We have an ASRock AB350 Pro 4. I use this board personally on decent overclocks, so that's good. Now I have, wait a minute, why do I have a second video card? Well, I've been wanting to do this video for a while, so I snagged one of these. I want to do the 1030 versus this card. I want to do it in gaming, and I think the reason why I want to do it is because some people might really only have like $70 to buy a graphics card. Buy the Gigabyte edition, so that's pretty cool. And I'm also going to do a CUDA acceleration video, see if it matters, and we didn't skip out on a power supply. It's only 430, but it's plenty of power. This could power anything up to probably about 1070. I wouldn't necessarily go 1080, but I'd be comfortable recommending that. So that's the parts. Okay, so CPU installation, got the CPU here. There is, in this corner, a little triangle. And up here, you guys can see, I'm going to try to get this into focus here. Up in this corner, there's also a gold triangle. So all you have to do is lift the retention bracket, line up this triangle with the triangle on the board. Now, mine's not lined up right now, but you just don't use any pressure. It drops right in. Pull the retention bracket down. That's simple. Next, we're going to go ahead and take off these mounting brackets, because the stock Kohler, which we're using, does not use it, believe it or not, which I find it really bizarre. You would think that the stock Kohler would be the one that does use it. So now I'm building on the motherboard tray, as always, because that is relatively anti-static, and it's better than building on carpet, which I know that a lot of people cringe about. stock cooler is pretty simple. So this is what the stock cooler looks like. Get a better angle there. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and plug in the stock cooler over here. So you guys can see where I went ahead and plugged that in. That way when I go to mount this, I can see what kind of slack I have. So that's a decent amount. I can't twist it. Nope, can't twist it any further. So I'm just going to use the stock paste for now. I'm going to do some testing on it to see how well it does. But I'll go ahead and turn this as I start screwing this down. So you basically just want to get these started. You definitely do not want to screw them all the way down one at a time. So that one doesn't want to go. So I'm going to want to use the edge of the motherboard box because I don't want to flex. There we go. That's good. Start this one. And then last one over here, which I will turn this around again. So the reason why I'm using, and I'm not sure if you guys can see here, let me go ahead and angle this. I'm using, so you can see here, this. Because when I push down, I want to push down right here. I don't want to flex the rest of the board, just in case, you know. Okay, now I have them all in. That one's down. That one's down. That one's down. And last one. Okay. That part is complete. Let's go ahead and let me see if I can find what I did with the memory here. I dropped some stuff on the floor earlier, so SSD. There we go. We got some memory. We're going to turn this so you guys can see. So I've used Team before. They're not a bad brand. The best compatible one that I've seen is Corsair LPX if you want to overclock. But there is a compatibility list online that you can get. So now because I currently use this board, I'm going to update the BIOS as soon as I can because I know what it does. Now for most Ryzen boards, there's going to be, these are going to be listed as A1, B1, A2, or, yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember exactly what it is, but basically these two slots are what you want to use for dual channel RAM. So, as usual, you line up the notch here, and I'll get you guys a little bit of zoom here. So you line up the notch here, the notch on the board, which is, they're actually all right here. So that happens to be lined up. I'm not going to push it in yet. I'll push in these two as well. Now this board and most Ryzen boards actually have clips only on one side, I've noticed. So okay, board is set up. The case choice wasn't an obvious one. A couple of reasons. I needed a front 5¼ inch bay for the Blu-ray player. I wanted something relatively easy to build in. My buddy said he wanted something that looked cool. So, you know, I needed, you know, fashion, function, you know, more function more than anything else. Because you guys know, finding a case with a 5¼ inch bay is not an easy task in 2017. And he wants to be able to rip directly to Blu-rays. So, you know, we have a Blu-ray burner in his, or going to this computer. But this is the Fractal Design Focus, I believe is the name of it. Yes. So, oh, the thumb screws stay in it. I like that. So, it looks to be pretty solid. I'm pretty happy. It wasn't super expensive. I think it's able to get the job done. Should be able to make everything look, clean it up nice. Sorry, I love taking that stuff off, but for the time being, always take the side panels off before you start building. At least I made one of the two. So, but first things first is thumb screws that stay in. That's one in my book, because you guys know how often I lose that stuff. literally, I think I have like a half a dozen videos where stuff's lost. So let's go ahead and angle this down a little bit just so we can see what we're working on here. So let's take the box out. We're probably going to need that later. It's actually interesting to put the drive cage in upside down, and I think they did that on purpose. So let's go ahead and fire in the motherboard. I got my I/O shield here. For the, well, in case some of you guys haven't seen an I/O shield installation in a while, let's bring the board over a little bit. So, okay, just pressing on the corners, and of course this one doesn't want to go in right. Okay, she's in. Okay, so make sure if we have any clearance issues, we'll find out now here. There we go. Okay. Oh, this even has a center point too, which is nice. Okay, we're definitely have to put in a couple different standoffs here, which is fine. In fact, this thing has next to no standoff, so we got to put them all in. No big deal. Cool, these look to be the motherboard screws. Awesome. So, you usually want to line it up. I've done this a lot, so I'm going to kind of just eyeball it. This is going to use mostly standard ATX here. Okay. Oh, they even give you a tool to drive it down with. Nice. Go ahead and pour all these out in my hand just so I can get them all started hand tight. I'm not giving them hand time, just giving them one turn. Yeah. That one does not want to go on. Alright, I'll come back to that one. So we have all the way down to the bottom. We have this one all the way down at the bottom. This one right here. You can use some extra thumb screws or standoffs, which is nice. This top one's gonna be the bane of my existence. It's fine. What we'll do for this one is they give you a little tool, and I'll just get this one hammered down all the way first. Oh, great. You really don't want to go in, do you? Building a PC is not difficult. Fighting with it, on the other hand, is a whole nother ballgame. There we go. Okay. So that one's down. You definitely don't want to over tighten these at all, but you definitely want to make sure they're all the way in too. So this board has 2, 4, 5, 7 standoffs. One of them's already pre-installed. I'll show you where those are at in a second. Got a lot of fractal designs, Scandinavian design. So you're good. So standoff wise, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the top you have 6 and 7. So it's pretty straightforward. Gotta fly this in there now. Oh, I love having a centerpiece there. You guys have no idea how easy it is to line up a motherboard when you have that. And these are probably the motherboard screws when I lay down up here. We'll find out here in a second, but that would make sense. Okay. I believe we should be good. One way to test if it is a motherboard screw is take one of leftover standoffs, like such, and see how well it goes in. So in this case, I could very well be wrong about this. I feel like this is not what to go down that far. So, I'm going to let these aside for a second. I'm going to try another screw. So those are probably threaded for something different. Yeah, we definitely, different screw, definitely found it. So, take this one out. Because I started to bottom out really early on that screw, which bothered me. So, Fractal Design, you almost had me. I won't take a point off for that. I mean, literally, this case is like 50 or 60 bucks. What are you going to do about it, you know? Hex screw. Oh, that's just... So, looking at this case, you probably don't have room in the top for a radiator, but I think in the front you do. Because I feel like, yeah, you definitely don't have room in the top for a radiator, but you definitely have one in the front, it looks like, and then the rear can probably support a radiator as well. Fail. Absolute fail. So, this layout lacks a spot for that standoff I put earlier. Doesn't matter how many times you do something like this, you're bound to fail like that. Okay. Oh no, it does have it. Maybe it just wasn't lined up properly. Interesting. It was lined up, just really difficult to see. So, this one back down. There we go. It was pushing up towards the bottom, and that's why that happened. Got it. No big deal. I thought I'd done messed up. But I was about to say, there's only slot for one thumb screw there, or one screw there. There wasn't two, so I feel like how would they have messed that one up? Now that that's done, let's take a quick tour of this case here. Move the camera back so we can see a little better. So, a lot of things you're going to like. So, cable management back here is not bad. Having this open is kind of annoying because you'll kind of see it. Again, we're not dealing with a super expensive case. We have two bays here. We have, looks like this thing only supports 2 hard drives. That's it. Actually, it looks like there might be an SSD mount down here. But yeah, so SSD mounts on here, SSD mounts there. This will fit a full-size cooler. So some of the things I like, this actually has screwed in dust filters up here. That's pretty cool. We have on the bottom here, the pain in the butt, but there's still dust filters. It works. And actually, it looks like the hard drive bays are actually screwed in, so you can remove those. That's cool. I do like that. Really nice for a budget case. We have 2 white LED fans in the front, and Fractal Design does make good fans. Let's go ahead and take this part off here. We have semi-removable Yeah, it looks like these can be removed. Dust filter, mesh. This is going to get a little bit dirty, so I want to make sure he knows to clean this a lot. So next part is getting these installed. I'm going to do all the drives right now. So for the mechanical drive, we have little pieces that hold it in place. It still doesn't hurt to screw it down though, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, just in case he decides to ever transport this. So, 2 of the hex head looking ones. Well, the heads are hex, but the screw still Phillips. Oh, it looks like you can only do it from one side. Oh well. Let me see if there's actually dedicated screws for this. I'm curious. Nope. There's not. So that'll have to work. We'll put this guy on top. That way he'll get better airflow. And then the SSD, which I have up here, should be a lot easier to install. Usually I only use one, but I'll use probably 2 in this case to keep it in. You know, SSDs, they don't move, so I just never know. Maybe he might move it around a little bit. And having 2 screws might help a lot. And I'll be honest, I'm not the only person in this industry that does it. It's just unneeded, in case we need to use those screws later for something. Okay, we'll put this down at the bottom. This won't get nearly as hot. Okay, lastly, we have the optical drive. They package this stuff so tight. I mean, I know why they do it. Because these can easily get damaged. So, got all this off. Let's go ahead and change our camera angle up a little bit. Move this back a little bit. Turn this guy around. Pop the front panel off. All these are easy, so literally 2 tabs on the side. We're out. Not actually going to pop it back in yet. I want to see how well this goes in. That is right side up. Alright. Okay, we'll make sure it's relatively flush. We will grab our screws, because I think tilt this up just a little bit. Now this I'm going to do with 4 screws. Minimum 1 each side, but I usually prefer to do 4. Yeah. Curious about something. Okay. So, man, these screws are not very useful. Gonna have to use the hex heads again, which I really don't want to do, but we use 2 of these, and that should be good, 1 on each side. Things like the power supply has these. Push back on this a little bit. Okay, that's not moving. So, optical's done. Let's start getting our PCI Express cards in. This one's pretty easy, so we're going to go here. So we're going to go second from the top here. And thumbs are still not loose enough. Love the fact that these are not like the ones you have to break off. That's why I didn't install the power supply yet. So graphics card is only for our compute. So a little bit of CUDA acceleration. We're going to do a test later about this. But that's all this is for. We're going to see how well that does versus like OpenCL and stuff like that. And I'm curious how well a 64-bit 2 gig DDR5 card on the 10 series actually works. Nobody's really done serious testing on these. Well, some people have. But I think you guys like my testing methodology. Darn you, thumb screw. Love thumb screws, but I hate them at the same time. Then we also have a Wi-Fi card to get. He's not gaming, so it's fine. I told him this computer will be capable of playing games. Not at the highest level, but if he ever wants to turn into a gaming computer, all we have to do is upgrade the graphics card. And we wouldn't have to spend a lot of money there either. So it has a half height bracket too. That's nice for small form factor computers. We'll use the second from the bottom slot here. This uses the 1X. I prefer the external, but it was out of stock. Sad part is a little more expensive too, but. And I'm actually going to be running this off of Wi-Fi just to test it. And we have 3 antennas put on the back here. So I'm going to open these up here. So in case you guys were wondering, antennas just screw on, very simple. It's a double pivot, so once it's on, the second piece pivots. Yeah, so like I said, I don't know the name of his channel yet, and I do apologize to him for that. I think he's still kicking around some ideas, but I'll definitely leave a link in the description. He goes, he used to be a pro wrestler. Name was White Trash Hero. He did the the big travel circuit, very short. Did a little bit in WWE and everything like that, and he's really into it. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. But let's get the power supply installed and get everything wired up, and we're gonna get it tested. So I want to talk about this power supply real quick. So obviously it comes with screws. It has zip ties and Velcro straps, and it's a good unit. It's a Seasonic, $40. So looking at it, we have two 12-volt rails, 17 amps each, maximum 360 watts. So to give you an idea, this CPU maxed out 65 watts. We're not going to overclock it, unfortunately, but I don't feel that's a need. You put like an RX 580 in there, and you're about 265 watts your main components. Throw another 50 in there, you're about 315, between 80 and 90% of just the 12-volt rail, which is fine. And you're running like peak efficiency. Not bad. I really can't complain. Like, this is definitely my go-to. It used to be the EVGA one, the 500W, but unfortunately it's not a bad power supply. It's just not, it falls like tier 4, and this is like a tier 2 or 3, so that's usually why we go with this one instead. And the 512 watt variant's not much more. And the reason why I didn't go the 512 for him is because we basically went through and just started cutting costs to keep it kind of like at budget, because we definitely were way over budget. So when you start trimming 10 here, 10 here, 12 here, it adds up to like, I think we trimmed like $150 off. The one area that we trimmed was the 1030 versus the 1050 Ti. And he really wasn't going to need the 1050 Ti. It's only for CUDA acceleration, and that's it. So this one's on an angle. This will be fun. So I got all these in here. Always orient your fan down unless, well, you really don't want to be bringing in hot air into it. So I almost always orient it facing down. Now, if your power supply or if your case has no vents there, obviously you won't want to do that. That would be a bad thing. So let's go ahead and get everything wired here. We're not going to need most of these. We're going to need the 4+4 here, which I can't seem to find. Oh, here we go. And the 12 pin. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom. Yeah, we are zoomed all the way. There we go. Perfect. So let's go ahead and route the 24 pin here. That's going to come sneak in behind here. Oh, spin it around. You guys will see why in a second. There we go. And that is to come on. Okay, I'm looking at it right. Let's say, did I? There we go. Got it. Yeah, just didn't want to, for some reason, line up right. Alright, let's go and wire the 4+4 here. The only thing I don't like about this power supply, and I don't think I can complain, is the 24 pin's not slaved all the way. I mean, Seasonic, if you're listening, I love this product. It's a great price. How much more would it cost to sleeve that? I would absolutely love to see a sleeved 24 pin. Okay, let's go this route instead. Flip this over. There's a tie that's preventing it from extending all the way here. Oh, you guys can't even see. I'm sorry. So I'm running the 24 pin up top here, or the 8 pin up top here. Got one 4 pin in. Got the other one in. Cool. So that part's done. Now, honestly, let's go ahead and move this down a little bit here. Now, all you really need to connect up is SATA and main power connectors to the board. That's pretty much it. So, let's go and route this through here. I'm going to route both of these through. We both set to SATA. Oh, I need to connect up the fan as well, but we'll do that a little bit. And that's for later. This room is an absolute mess. We're tearing apart looking for something not super long ago. Oh, thank God. I'm not sure if you guys can see. I'm like, really? That's really going to cut it off, but it doesn't. So let's go like this. Actually, let's do this in reverse order here. Probably easier to do that. There we go. Now I can shove this cable down in there. Perfect. Let's say the cable's really not going to be, that's going to be fun. But anyway, route this one. Let's go right up here. I think that'll be perfect. Let's see if yeah, there we go. Cool. Let's spin that around real quick. Oops. here. Spin it around. Perfect. Okay, so these cables I'm actually going to take care of now. I'm just going to keep them at the bottom. We don't need them for anything. And I like the zip tie at the bottom because it almost makes it look a little bit cleaner. It really does. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. And I'm probably not a lot of people that do this way. I think most people try to hide them. Okay. And screwdriver down. Not that we're really going to need that for a little bit. So we'll just keep them tucked away at the bottom. There you go. And honestly, you're not going to really see much of that, so that's pretty cool. So let's get some other things fixed up here. So we have this, which needs to be routed. So undo this. So where's our HD audio? It's probably going to want that. Please fit, please fit. Oh, come on. It's right there. Actually, I have an idea. I'm going to, you guys can't see what I'm doing here. Let me actually move this down a little bit. I'm going to take the power supply out because the problem is the connector doesn't fit, but the wire will. So if I shift the power supply over a little bit and remount it, we'll be good to go. Because I don't think I'd be able to get it any other way. So what I do is take the screws out and slide it over a little bit. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Oh, make sure it's going the right way here. That Wi-Fi cord's in the way too. Probably should have routed this beforehand. Take these off. Card's in the way. I tried to work around it, but sure. Cool. So that will go back on. This will slide back in. Perfect. I can't recall the last time that I built a computer that I didn't have to take something out at some point and put it back in. Can't recall. I feel like every build it's something. And the worst part is when it's the I/O shield. That's probably by far the worst. And any big time PC builder will tell you they've done that once. And there's really no way around it. Like you have to take the whole board out and do it. I'm going to grab my USB 3. Where does that go? Oh, that goes up here actually. So we're going to route that next to, actually, let's go up from here. Let's actually flip this the other way here. So we got that. And apparently I just dropped something on the ground. That's fine. We have a regular USB port. So that'll go in any one of these, and we'll just select one. So we're good there. Where's our front panel? Here's our front panel. Bane of my existence. Front panel connectors. Hate them. Absolutely hate doing them. Although I'm missing one. Why am I missing one? Nope, there it is. Found it. So let's do the bottom first. So we'll do reset. Hard drive. Now, most of the times, I don't have to consult the manual. Newer boards generally have the same layout. Not all, but most. So, there was a time where I incorrectly put the power and reset switch. I mixed them up. Not a big deal, I just did the reset switch to power it on. That's all they are, just grounding. The power LEDs is what I hate so much. Especially when they're tangled like this. Alright, you're all coming out. Let's do those first, since I hate those so much. There we go. The problem is there are two small ones. You have to line them up right. Sometimes they like to twist and turn on you, and all that fun stuff. Oh, I should not put those in first. I got it. Power and reset go on the other side of the hard drive and the power LED. Let's do reset first. Power second. And all I need is SATA cables, which I don't remember if I kept those out or not. Probably not. Let's go ahead and get all those hooked up, and then we're going to power up. So in the meantime, I debated with myself for a couple of minutes. I decided to install a Corsair gray fan in the back. He really needed a rear fan. I don't like... I mean, I like positive airflow, but you have to have some exhaust. You don't want it all venting out through the cracks. So, it's ugly. It's a good fan, but just ugly, that's all. It's not going to be RGB or white like this front fans are. And now I'm just hooking up the rear fans, or the front fans here. I'll do some cable tie downs in a couple minutes once I verify that everything works. Got a couple of these. They're SATA connectors. Do the right angle one there. We'll have this one going down the side, which is fine. Oops. We'll have this under SATA 1. And we'll do a couple straight plugs from here. I'm going to try to get the SSD first. Actually, what I'm probably going to have to do is pull the SSD out. Get it lined up. Yep, that's exactly what I'll have to do. Fish this through the other side. through. Plug this, since I'm going to plug this on the bottom first. There we go. Okay, so that one's done. Right angle down here. Nah. Wonder if I want a right angle one or not. I'm going to say no. Okay, so let's plug in the SSD first, which I actually have a spot right here. So the SSD is going in the second slot. Mechanical drive is going to go in the third slot. Definitely going to have to clean these cables up a little bit. But we'll worry about that later. Now, let's get it fired up. Find out if we have post. Just power on self-test. But basically look for video. There we go. Sweet. Let's see what we're looking at here. We have... Turn it. Oops. So, we have the Ryzen 5. XMP profile. I'm curious here. Well, actually, I don't know what version. Let's go ahead and load Windows, then we'll mess with this. So once it's up and running, maybe I'll do a couple of videos of some benchmarks. Thank you guys for tuning in to this build log of the, we'll call it, I think I have a name for it, the $700 editing rig. We'll leave it at that. Everything's up and running. Windows is installed. I still have a little bit of cable management to do, but nothing serious. But definitely like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, that's fine. I mean, you guys seem to like my build logs for the most part, so hopefully this is pretty popular with you guys. Stay tuned. I have a couple videos coming out. We're going to be looking at the GT 1030 versus the RX 580. And also, we're going to be looking at, does the GT 1030 do anything? And we'll do Adobe, I'll do an editing video of Adobe Premiere and see if CUDA acceleration on a base card for just video output actually does help. But this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions. I'll see you guys later on down the road.